Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of the Voron 2 series. In between I ordered some cables. These are silicone and the smaller one that's 4 core and I think it was 20 gauge. This is thicker, I think this was 16 gauge, this is for AC. And yeah, as I said, these are silicone wire. It will just make wiring to some parts easier, I think. And I used thicker wires for the bed, so you can see that I connected it here, and the rear skirts with the hole is also now printed, so I just routed it through that and to the bed terminal, and yeah, I think it will work well. I'll run the cables that will run to the top chamber from this with the 4 core ones, and they will all be hidden behind these pieces. I showed this 4 or 5 episodes ago, I think, at this point, but yeah, these are just 3D printed cable covers and they will do the job. But yeah, the cables will run in the back as I explained, and for that, this is the panel. You can see that I made a small cutout on the bottom side. That's not going to be visible from the inside of the printer because it's only as high as these flanges, so yeah, these will hide it, but it will give enough room for me to route these 2 cables out, so the power for the heat pad and the DB9 that will run to the top chamber. And yeah, we'll, I guess, work on that in a bit. I almost finished the inner insulation covers, or whatever I'm calling them. I just need to do the bottom corners and the one in the front, and yeah, it will be done. And I'll get to mounting the panels right after that. I just want to mount them first because otherwise it would be very difficult. So yeah, I guess let's print the last few parts and then I'll come back to you with the panel mounting. Did the wiring on this side and started routing the cables behind the back, and yes, I installed the rear panel and the side panels as well, so all panels are installed. Now there are a few things I need to fix. First of all, I showed you this was meant to be the cable cover, and when I designed them I was thinking that I was just going to use regular you know, one of these are 16 gauge, but I don't know, 18 gauge or 20 gauge wires, regular ones. I ended up using these silicone cables, as you can see, and well, this is nowhere near tall enough, so I'm going to reprint these. I need to design these again. There's also the bottom skirts, so you can see that I printed about half of them, and this is how it looks from the bottom. And you can also see a picture of it with the bottom acrylic panel in place, and yeah, that's how it's going to fit there. You have to remove the bottom feet to get to them, which is a downside, but at the same time, it says these feet that keep that panel in place. This is not going to be a problem on the top side, there's no feet there, and it will just be held by gravity. But on this side, yeah, I need something, so I designed the feet for that. It's been a few weeks since the last recording in this episode. I was basically waiting for the spider board and then the custom PCB that I ordered, and they're now both here. The spider arrived like 2-3 weeks ago, whenever that video was out. It was basically the next day or something like that after the spider arrived, but the custom PCB, at the time of recording the video, it arrived that day. I'm doing a voiceover because, well, I just rambled too much, but well, I'm just doing that, so anyway. And yeah, as I said, I switched to the spider board. Initially the plan was to use a duet Wi-Fi and a Big3Tech SKR Mini E3 V2.0, and the reason for the duet Wi-Fi was because of its GPIO, and the reason for the Big3Tech Mini SKR Mini E3 V2.0, or whatever, I'm just going to call it SKR from now on, that was because I already have it. Well, as I said in the overview video of the spider board, this was sent to me by Feistek, so you know, since I have this board anyway, I might as well use it, and it is actually a pretty good board. But it also makes some of the features that I have on the custom PCB not really necessary anymore. Since this board already has a 12 volt and a 5 volt buck converter built in, you don't really need that functionality on the custom PCB that I had, so that actually let you select the voltage of the fans you use and stuff like that on the custom PCB. Since that's built into the spider, it's not really necessary anymore. And that also means the 12 volt and the 5 volt power supplies are also not necessary anymore, but I'll keep them for now, but I'll eventually remove those as well. And I really like the spider board for this build, but there is one more thing that's a bit of a problem. As I said, I want to build N-Rabbit Project carrot feeder, which is the MMU2 thing,
And with that I need 9 drivers in total. The Spider has 8, and I'm not going to add one more MCU like that big 3-tech SKR mini whatever, since, well, that has 4 drivers, you know, it would kind of feel like a waste. A better solution to that would be to get a toolhead PCB, and that is what I want to do, which means I'll eventually get a Hoovut or something like that, or whatever else I can get whenever something is available. That also means the Enrage Rabbit project will have to wait until that, because as I said, I need the driver slot, and, well, I don't have it. And that also means that the custom PCB that I just showed and basically just arrived is going to be changed at some point, but I do plan to get my Voron 2 working in this episode, so that's going to happen. But eventually I'll have to replace that with something else, and, well, we'll get to that whenever we get to that. I have some pretty early PCB designs, but they need some work, so yeah, we'll see.
I did a decent amount of the temporary electronic setup. As I said, the long-term goal with the top chamber is to have the Nevermore and whole skirts, etc. on the top chamber, so this is just a temporary setup, but yeah, everything seems to be working right now, except Klipper. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm sure it will work. And yeah, this is the setup. I have the spider board and the board you saw there. I did all the wiring, and I also removed the board that's on the toolhead, so right now it's just connected to connectors. As I said, I wasn't too happy with the way that bulky connector worked in my current setup. It was a bit of a pain to route, and yeah, I felt like it wasn't going to work really well. I felt like I was going to get stuck on stuff, so yeah, this is the setup for now. But in the long run, I want to put a Hoovut or something similar on the toolhead as well, so that's not going to be an issue in the long run. That's why this is just sort of a temporary umbilical setup, but yeah, that's the setup right now anyway. And as I said, everything seems to work, no magic smoke or anything. So yeah, I'll just have to get Klipper working on the spider, and then we will get to the first test print.
I got Klipper working and ran through the initial checks for Klipper and found a few problems. There are some problems on the Y motor, for example. It says there's a short, and the Y limit switch is also acting pretty weirdly. And for both of those, I'm suspecting the DB15 connector on the gantry PCB. The wires on that connector are soldered directly to the DB15 connector. There are no crimps or anything, so I assume I did prep them up in using either heat shrinks or electrical tape, but probably heat shrink. But yeah, I guess something came loose or whatever, because that cable is actually in a lot of stress, so I'm just going to remove that PCB and do a similar wiring job like on the toolhead, and, well, it will be temporary anyway, so I'll call it a day. In the long run, for that I want a gantry PCB with TMCs built in as well, so I just can get away with running 4 wires for the CAN bus, and that's it. But yeah, for now that's not happening, so I'll just do a temporary wiring setup for that, and we'll eventually fix it. As I said, I just want to get the printer working today, and we'll deal with that later. And another thing is, I couldn't get Raspberry Pi to connect to the spider board using UART. I don't know what's going on really, but it just kept throwing communication errors at me, and, well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the jumper cables, or maybe it is the fact that I'm using that official Raspberry Pi touch display, which uses some sort of a serially protocol for communication for the touch interface, not the display itself, but that travels over the ribbon cable, but maybe it's the same pins and that causes the problem. I really don't know, but the thing is, yeah, I just couldn't get it working, so I had to go back to USB, which is the reason why you saw that USB cable. But I'm still using the spider to power the Raspberry Pi, even though I also have the 5V power supply. But if I can get it working well, I'll obviously remove the 5V and the 12V, since I don't need those anymore. But yeah, that seems to work well, and I'll try the UART communication at some point in the future as well, but right now the priority is to get the printer working.
I fixed the issue and started doing PID tuning on the printer, and in the meantime I decided to load Filament, and, well, yeah, I don't think this is going to work that well. I will definitely figure something out about this. I just probably need some support from the legs, but yeah, if you put a full-size spool, you can see what happens. It just bends too much for me to be comfortable with this, so yeah, this thing, I will have to reprint the whole thing, I guess, but well, yeah, not much I can do. I don't want to use it like that, just in case something bad happens. Sorry it took me this long to just do such a simple test at A, but yeah, I'll figure out something, or you will, I don't know. The first print from the new Doom Cube Voron is now ready, and here it is. It's just a test cube, but it printed pretty well, it looks like. Let me remove that and we'll take a closer look. Actually, I take back what I just said. I think this doesn't look that great. You can see the zits on here, for example. I know what caused this though, and I fixed it when it was printing, so you know, there's that. This one isn't a printer fault, but yeah, you can see some weird bulging parts and stuff like that. Yeah, it is not great. So as I said, the previous test cube was pretty bad. You can see it here. I mostly blame Pressure Advance for this. Pressure Advance can make your parts look like shit if it's overdone, and that really felt like that, but still wanted to do the ADXL 345 tuning as well, so yeah, you can see that the previous one was pretty terrible. The new print, it's pretty good. Like, it could be improved, but aesthetically, but it is pretty good to pretty close to perfect, so not much to complain about. I didn't measure the previous one because of all the bulges and stuff like that, but this the dimensional accuracy of this one is also perfect, and there is no overflow or anything like that either. So the bearing test, that's how I know that. So if you don't know, Voron test cubes have these two holes on top and the bottom, and you can use these two bearings to check them, and they're supposed to fit snugly, but they should still push in relatively easily and should be, again, relatively easily to remove as well. And well, as I said, it works perfectly well. So yeah, just by fixing the Pressure Advance, well, ADX and ADXL, but really think it's just Pressure Advance in this case, I fixed all of the problems with the print quality. So as you just saw, I fixed the print quality issues now as well, so the printer is printing just fine and we're ready for moving on and doing other upgrades. But before that, while the printer is running, I want to print the parts for the TinyM and Voron 0.1 upgrades. So yeah, there will be a few weeks until the next episode, so I know this video was a little short, but I want to get it out there. What we'll do on this series next will be the finishing the Doom Cube upgrades, so the top electronics chamber and finishing the bottom skirts as well. And then we will also probably move on to the Nevermore air filter. And after that, I guess, Enrage Rabbit project carrot feeder, but before that I will have to fix the spool holders, and yeah, I also need the tool headboard, so that might take a while, but I might also just build it and wait until I can get a tool headboard or something, I don't know. But yeah, as I said, that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next other projects. As I said, I will do the TinyM and the Voron 0.1 upgrades before I continue this. I will also print missing broken end stop blocks on my MPCNC, so that series can probably continue pretty soon as well. And the next video you will see on this channel will probably be the TinyM build. I want to release the first episode of that. I was really waiting for the Voron 2 to work, so now I can actually print the drill kites, drill the extrusions, and do some progress on the TinyM build at least. And I also have an ultrasonic cleaner coming, which I also want to make a quick video of. So one of those will be the Monday video, the other one will be the Friday video probably. So stay tuned for those and the rest of the projects. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like down below, and thanks for watching.